So good evening and welcome. This is our 8th class in this series. Although last week's class was what I would call an official ending. And this is more like an introduction into the next 6-week series. So if you did miss last week's class or any of the classes, please make sure you go back and go through that journey, because there is a beautiful journey of awakening to that inner goddess, and also understanding the power of contemplating our death and how that can help us to enjoy life more. So this evening, I'd like to guide you through a practice that allows us to focus on the breath of life, the power of the breath to bring to us what we most desire, a sense of connection, bliss, and liberation from the mundane daily stresses that we have in life. And sometimes we think, perhaps in our modern world, that multitasking or being distracted is our usual state, but it's actually a very distorted state, and it's not natural to us. One of the gifts of yoga is that it can return us to our natural state. It can bring us home to that childlike or baby-like sense of deep presence and awe. And one of the quickest ways we can access our natural state is through the breath. So I invite you now just to sit comfortably. You might use a bolster or a pillow. And what I find to be most awe-inspiring about our yoga practice is that more and more modern day science is proving what we know from our embodied practice. But what has recently been in the news, and it's a follow-on from research that was done about 20 years ago, was the realization that when we have an even breath, an even inhale and an even exhale, it brings us into a state of deep coherence with the brain. So the right and left hemispheres of the brain are syncing and communicating and bringing us into a sense of unification, especially important if we are living in a state of stress or anxiety, always thinking in the future or perhaps lamenting on the past. So we're going to find this even breath, or in yoga we call it samavriti. And who knows the easiest way to find samavriti? Perhaps the most delightful way to find an even breath. Anybody? Ah, okay, mantra, chanting. In yoga, we often use the chant Om Mani Padme Hum or Satanama. And what all of these chants have in common is they use an in-breath and an out-breath that has a count of about 5.5 to 6. So if we chant Om Mani Padme Hum, it's a 6-syllable mantra. And when we chant it, on the inhale, there's 6 counts. And on the exhale, as we're chanting, there's 6 counts. So this is one of the quickest ways to bring us into a state of connection and coherence. So let's begin tonight by chanting Om Mani Padme Hum. And in our everyday life, it's very soothing to listen to the chant. But the true power of mantra is when you're using your own voice. You can hear your voice and you're using your breath to allow you to find that state of coherence. So as we chant, just make adjustments to your physical posture. As the breath evens and as the breath becomes calmer, you'll start to notice certain things about yourself. And make any adjustments that you need to feel more calm and more peaceful. So Om Mani Padme Hum. The jewel is in the lotus flower, the mantra of compassion and wisdom. Joining your hands together at your energetic heart space. There's about 50 seconds of listening. Just allow yourself during this time to listen, to be aware, and be compassionate as perhaps you're rushing in from other things at home. Be compassionate to yourself as you start to settle.
Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani Padme Hum.
Bring compassion and the wisdom of your energetic heart and the Hatha chakra. Be smiling to yourself, feeling deep gratitude for your health and this gift of another day of life. When you're ready, opening your eyes. So before we move into our Yin Yoga poses this evening, we're going to do a gentle warm-up that also stimulates the yin tissues of the body. So our joints, we're going to do some joint mobilization exercises. Just begin by mobilizing the neck, very gently moving the neck in half circles. Allow the breath to fill the throat. Half circles to the front. Relax the eyes, the eyelids. Relax the face muscles. Draw your shoulders gently towards your ears, half circles to the back. Letting the breath flow into the neck. Shoulder rolls towards the back, open the chest. Hands still. base of your body now. Tailbone, gentle circles with your tailbone. These circular movements move upward. Mid-spine. Opposite direction. Take the circular movements down from the upper chest, back. Move down through your body. I invite you to chant now as well. Use your breath. Hear your voice. Stretching your legs out now, just rotating your ankles. Continue to chant. Opposite direction with your ankle. That movement spiral up to the hip joints. Chant if you like. Being aware of how you feel. Practicing that inner smile, smiling down to yourself. Feeling a sense of loving kindness for your body and your mind. Actively aware now of the count of your breath. Inhaling for 5 through the nose and exhaling for 5 or 6 out through the mouth. Finding your own breath pace and rhythm. Counting to yourself. Expand your awareness so you feel like you're drawing the in-breath in from the core of Mother Earth up through your feet, to the crown of head. And you're exhaling and drawing the breath down through your body. Even breath, Samraviti. Imagine your breath is like a soft beam of light. You're utilizing that beam of light to scan through your body, scanning for space and openness. And you're noticing if there are any blockages, any places where that light or your breath is finding it hard to flow. If and when you find a blockage, draw that breath as deeply as you can to that space. And then utilize the exhale. Exhale out through your mouth, and this time a little longer. So we move from an even breath to lengthening the exhale. Using the exhale to release any blockages or stagnation in your body. If it is the case that there are no blockages tonight in your body, staying with that even breath and seeing the light fill the body equally on the in-breath and the out-breath. I invite you now to take our first Yin Yoga pose for this evening. So it'll be the dragon pose. So you come onto your left knee. Your right leg will be forward. And the first element of a Yin Yoga practice is to find a shape where there's so much sensation in the target areas that you have to be present with yourself to avoid injury and to avoid the feeling that you may almost break. So this is what we call our edge. It's quite a challenging place to take yourself in. So in the dragon pose, we're seeking to find the edge in the hip area, perhaps the back thigh, perhaps the front hip as well. Please make use of any props that you have, bolsters, blocks, your bed, your chair. And take a few moments to find your edge. Sensation is strong enough that your mind needs to be present in the pose. And once you've found your edge, committing to stillness and utilizing your breath. So begin with that equal inhale and exhale, samavriti. And then scanning your body, particularly the hip area and the thigh area. Allowing the muscles around these areas to completely relax. So the stimulation of the pose seeps into the joints and your connective tissue. The third aspect of our yin practice is to linger. Allowing time to soak into the tissues. Allowing the mind to become one with the breath. So as you're lingering, if you're noticing any tension, any blockages to moving the breath through your body, begin to change the breath. Lengthen your exhale. Allow the exhale to further relax and release any excess tension in your muscles, any excess tension of your mind. Infuse your breath with light and keep scanning target areas of your body. Taking one complete cycle of breath, even inhale, even exhale. And allow yourself now to very gently come out of that shape. The body is extra fragile after a yin holding. So take your time and just find a neutral position, still position, and just notice. Notice sensations in your body. Notice the rhythm of your breath. Listening to the whispers of your body. Your body needs to take a gentle movement, perhaps a stretch, downward dog. A few moments to move. And very gently changing sides. So your right knee will be behind. Your left leg is in front. And we're seeking to relax the yang part of ourselves, so the muscles and the mind. The mind is the yang, the energetic heart is the yin. So give permission to your mind to think, but at the same time drop deeper into your energetic space in the center of the chest. Take a few moments to find your edge. And then committing to stillness. Notice discomfort in your body. You may notice that your mind becomes distracted. It's becoming more and more aware of what is happening within. Allowing yourself to linger. Embracing the use of time. At least 90 seconds to a few minutes in each pose. So your joints, the ligaments, the connective tissue, fascia, soaks in the breath. And on that breath, we start to feel your energy, your chi flowing. Use the breath and imagine the breath is light. Take the breath deep into the areas that you're noticing. Where there's any perceived blockage, discomfort, take the breath deeply into that area and use your exhale to relax, to release and let it go. Hearing the sound of your breath. Taking an even cycle of breath now. Inhaling for 5 or 6 counts and exhaling for 5 or 6 counts. Very gently coming out of that shape. Taking a moment to feel, to being still. Notice how the breath is changing or has changed. And then listening to see if your body needs to move or adjust itself in any way. I invite you now to very gently come onto the floor, so both your sit bones are on the ground. And come into your butterfly pose. So depending on what you need, if you feel your lower back needs a release, so have your heels a little bit further away from the groin. If you feel it's the groin area, the inner thighs that need to be more relaxed, and just bring them in a little bit more closely. And taking a long, deep inhale. And then exhale, very slowly coming down into a forward fold. Use any props that you may need, a bolster or a pillow in front of you. And take a few moments to find your edge. The sensation is strong enough that you can be present with yourself. There's no pain. It is a strong sensation in the target area. And then acquiring an equal breath, inhaling for 5 or 6 counts. And then exhaling out through the mouth for 5 or 6 counts. Committing to stillness and sustaining that focused awareness of your breath flowing through your body. Imagining that breath as a beam of light. Allow that light to move through the body, gliding along the space. If you find any blockages or any areas of discomfort, change your breath. Take it more deeply into that area and exhale for longer, imagining that blockage is being dispersed and released. Lingering for another minute or so, letting go of the outer sounds, just listening to the sound of your breath and your body. Becoming aware of where your mind is, focused on your breath. Perhaps it's wonder. And if it's wondered, just giggle, smile to your mind in a sense of joyful compassion. And draw the mind back to this present moment and onto the breath with a long moaning sound. Very slowly letting the head be the last thing to rise, keeping the eyes closed, slowly coming up. And in this final phase of the pose, the rebound, listening, feeling the breath. And then honoring the needs of your body. Perhaps it wants to move or stretch out. Perhaps it desires more stillness. So coming now onto your back. And just bringing both of your thighs onto your belly, grounding the spine onto the earth. Noticing the presence of any emotions as we dive deeper into our yin, the emotional body awakens. Giving permission for your emotions to flow.